was time for a sports car. It needed to be older so even I could work on it. No computers, evaporative hoses, or smog pumps. It also had to be a classic and something special. The 1964 Aston Martin DB5, the James Bond car. I picked up a Classic Cars for Sale and a Foreign Car Trader magazine. I was shocked by the price of the one or two Astons I found. Dismayed, I tossed the magazine down on top of the open Foreign Car Trader, and eureka! The Aston Martin picture landed right next to an image of a Datsun 240Z. The Aston Martin looked a little like the Z. Well, the long hood, anyway. This would just be a big car model. The first step was to see how close the Z and the DB5 were in size. I made a transparency of the Aston and placed it over the Z image. The Z had too stubby of a tail, and the snout was a little too pointy, but the wheelbase, both in length and width, were very close. I set to work by removing the tail lights and bumper. My experience making surfboards came in handy. Using the thin cardboard and foam board, I crafted the tail. After the shape was set, I laid fiberglass cloth and then coated it with resin, finishing it off with fiberglass putty called, appropriately, Bondo. Aston Martin used the tail light lenses from Austin Healey and the license plate lights from the Volkswagen Carmen Ghia. At this stage, I met the maestro. He was introduced to me by the guy that did my sofa covers. The maestro said he was very skilled in auto body and had done some custom work. I showed him my progress thus far, and he claimed to be able to complete my project for only $2,000. This seemed too good to be true, but being assured that I could check on his progress at any time, and he had full use of a body shop where the car would be kept safe, I agreed. I gave the maestro my car and $800. I stopped in about every 2 weeks. Initially, there was progress. He had cut and welded a hood scoop. It was closer to a DB4 in length, a little taller than the DB5, but looked good enough. Another visit showed a little progress on the headlights. Maestro requested and received another $400. Then the maestro disappeared. The body shop owner said that he hadn't been in for 3 weeks. After being unable to contact him, I thought it best to retrieve my car, so I loaded the hood into the back of the Z and made it to 40 miles home. I never heard from the maestro again. At this point, I realized the magnitude of my task. Maybe I should just give up and put it back together as a Z with a hood scoop. Unfortunately, the front of the hood was cut off, and along with it, the only way to attach it back onto the car. Maestro had also removed the quarter windows and started to cut away the body. This would force me to complete his work. I removed the maestro metal from the headlight area and began again. The headlights are Volkswagen, as are the secondary covers. I used the glass covers as a mold and vacuum formed them in clear plastic. The bumpers are from the Z. I had the front cut, extended, and chromed. The rear only needed to be chromed. One important item the maestro provided are the actual Aston Martin bumper guards. I don't have a clue on how we found them. Looking at the profile, the tail light fins were too low. The fix was easy, thank goodness. I cut out the tail light section and moved it up about 4 inches, adding more foam board, cardboard, and finally fiberglass. The last of the maestro metal was removed. Using my Z, DB5 overlay sheet, and reference photos, I crafted the front. The grille was made from band aluminum and the edge from hardwood. The bands were connected with all thread and aluminum tubes. With the front and rear shaped, I smoothed out to the doors and wheel wells. The quarter windows are Lexan. I cannibalized 2 sets of Z windows to get them to match the longer Aston style. I capped the Z seat bottoms and added Volkswagen low backs to match the 60s look. The Z doesn't have a back seat, so I made one. The backrest was a cardboard tube and the seat press board. The door grips were extended to match the DB5. Everything was covered either in gray leather or vinyl. I was surprised that the Z dashboard was in such great shape. I wanted to build one closer to Aston Martin, but I settled for adding a horn cap. The opening center console was built from pressboard and covered in leather. The switches control the fog lights, antenna, CD player, and electric heater. The top of the gearshift knob was cut and hinged. The ejection button sadly doesn't work. Finally, it was ready for paint. I contacted Duro and they sent me a sample of the silver birch paint used on the DB5. I had that matched in Imran, used to paint aircraft. It's not bulletproof, but pretty sturdy. There are still things to do. Add the power window kits, box in the fender air vents, and add the chrome strip. Oh, and make a proper hood badge. Wow.